If you've been anywhere online the last few months, you've probably seen these guys, Labubu. Maybe you love them, maybe you think they're creepy, but you cannot deny they are everywhere right now. But with a hype like this, I can't help but think about other moments where we had extreme hypes, like for example the infamous Tulip Mania, and those did not end well. Hey, I'm Jana. I usually post videos about digital art, life as an artist, and the absolute chaos that is social media, but today we're doing something different. This piqued my interest. The Labubu craze, it feels way too familiar to ignore. It shows some warning signs that I've noticed, and I wanted to dive into it. Also, while we chat about all this, you'll see my time-lapse drawing of the thumbnail for this video, and yeah, even though Mr. Beast just dropped their AI thumbnail generator, I'm still stubbornly doing this stuff by hand, okay? So enjoy that while I overanalyze the downfall or incoming downfall of plush toys. So here's the deal. Labubu started off as this cute, slightly unsettling character that the Hong Kong artist Kai Sing Long, I think that's his Hong Kongese name, I can only say the Mandarin one, which is Long Jiasheng. He created this back in 2015, and it was part of the niche series called The Monsters. It was kinda underground and very artsy. And then Pop Mart, China's blind box giant, got involved in 2019, and that's when it went global. But the real turning point, that came when Lisa from Blackpink, you know, Blackpink in your area, casually sported the Labubu as a keychain. And because Lisa, well, she has a lot of influence, the internet and collectors went nuts, especially across Asia. And then Pop Mart's revenue nearly doubled, plush sales skyrocketed, and rare Labubus, they resale at thousands sometimes, especially for those giant limited edition versions. It turned from cute merch to speculative madness. But while the fans are still lining up and the hype is still peaking, so to speak, the people closest to the money, they have already quietly cashed out. In early 2025, Borchit Capital, or Fengqiao Capital, one of Pop Mart's founding investors, sold off their entire stake after years of having them, and I'm talking about 12 million shares, pocketing over, I think, 2.2 billion Hong Kong dollars. That's like 280 million US dollars gone. Their reason? The fund matured. But they're still saying they're super confident about Pop Mart's journey. It's super convenient timing though, right? Right at the peak. And they weren't the only ones. Around the same time, another major, undisclosed investor offloaded 4.1 million shares, raking in over $100 million. All this happening while Pop Mart's stock was hitting record highs. Meanwhile, Chinese state media starts slamming blind box toys, calling them addictive, especially for kids, and Pop Mart's stock, it drops 6% overnight. New restrictions get discussed, the mood slightly shifts. But online, the people are still lining up and trying to get the new drop. Look, you don't have to be an expert to see the pattern here though. When insiders, the people who know the business inside out, start jumping ship while the hype is still hot, that's your signal. And to get to my actual point here about the Tulip Mania, well, let me explain what the original hype train was. The Tulip Mania in the Netherlands back in 1630s, it began when tulips weren't just flowers for people. They were basically status symbols. Rare bulbs, especially those striped or broken varieties, people were trying to flip them like luxury watches. At the peak of it, one single tulip bulb would cost more than a house. Not exaggerating here. It was pure speculation though. People weren't buying them because they loved gardening or they had some intrinsic higher value, you know? They were gambling on prices going higher. Does that sound familiar? Everyone wanted in, ordinary people were taking out loans, selling assets, all to get their hands on tulips. But like all bubbles, the moment buyers slowed down, the whole thing collapsed. Prices crashed, fortunes just vanished, and the Dutch economy got slapped with the first ever recorded financial bubble. And Labubus, well, they're not tulips obviously, but tell me that it's not feeling eerily close. I mean, manufactured scarcity, status symbols, ridiculous pre-sale prices, and now insiders even bailing. The parallels for me are wild. And we've already had a plush toy become this kind of hyped, you know? Remember Beanie Babies in the 90s? Same formula, cute, rare, hyped, and it collapsed. It was basically artificial scarcity. Today, they're just landfill plushies, and I'm fearing that Labubus could end there as well. On the flip side, there are things like Pokémon trading cards. Sure, you get the hype and crazy prices, but there's more foundation. There are games, tournaments, there's lore, there's real cultural roots that's already decades long, you know? What you can't say about a plush monster from a blind box, no matter how cute or creepy cute it is. So where does that leave Labubu? Honestly, I think right on the edge. The hype is everywhere, and it still is, but the foundation is kind of thin. There's no real utility, there's no broader like cultural backbone. It's just a cute design, it's artificial scarcity, hyped into some like speculative bubble. You know, Labubu's value, it only exists because people believe it does. And the second that the belief cracks, you're left with fabric, fluff, and a very expensive life lesson. But hey, this is just my take. What do you think? Is Labubu the next, you know, Pokemon TCG or the fluffiest version of Tulip Mania we've ever seen? I would love to hear your take on this, and if you're interested in more art-related content as well, stick around. I post a lot about digital art, and I draw during those YouTube videos, so maybe you'll think that's also fun. And for my regular watchers, I think it's nice to branch out sometimes and report on topics that just pique my interest like this one.